Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest with me who's going to tell us all about dental hygiene school from a more recent perspective. I have graduated almost 13 years ago now, so when I give you guys information, it's pretty dated at this point. So we have Alicia here with us today. Hello. And she's going to be answering some of your questions and some of my questions. So let's get going.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about how I'm not going to discuss which school you're at, but you are at a local school, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So you're here in Colorado.
I am in Colorado.
Cool. So what made you decide to become a hygienist?
So I had actually lost some family members due to different diseases and health problems and things. And I hadn't gone to the dentist in a while. And so I had gone back to the dentist and I had a new dental hygienist. And she was telling me about how the teeth are the first place that disease can show up, and just how important it is. And she was great at cleaning my teeth, and I really liked her. And I don't know, she kind of just inspired me. She told me her story of how she began to become a dental hygienist, and I wanted to help people, and if I could find something that was going on with somebody health-wise and pick up on that and maybe save them, that was why I started.
What are some of the prereqs that your school required for you to get into dental hygiene school once you decided this is what you wanted to do?
Sure. So there were science requirements and then other class requirements. So for science, we had to do anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, microbiology, chemistry, and technically you have to take biology before you can take those other classes. So you have to take that too, but it doesn't go toward the program.
Oh, it didn't on yours?
No, it
okay.
didn't for
It did
us.
on mine.
It did
cool.
for you? Okay.
Any other courses that kind of...
Yeah, we did psychology, sociology, some kind of English class.
Yeah, I think we had to do English.
Oh, public speaking. Yeah, public speaking.
Which does not come in handy on YouTube, just so you know.
No, yeah, I think that was about it. And then there were other requirements, you had to have 3 letters of recommendation.
Right.
The health occupational aptitude exam, you had to take that.
Yeah.
And then an interview. I think that's about it.
Yeah, we did an interview as well where the people from the school would come and talk to you. So does your school recommend becoming a dental assistant before you come in for dental hygiene, or is this a stepping stone, or is it okay to just come in and go, you know what, I was a nursing student, or I was psychology, or I was art, now I want to do hygiene?
Right. So I actually didn't have any dental experience at all.
Okay.
And you get extra points towards your application if you do have dental experience.
Okay.
But other than that, they were okay with whoever applying.
Do you have people in your class that were dental assistants?
There's quite a few.
Do they feel like they have an advantage over the rest of you that you've noticed?
I'd say there's an advantage up to a certain point in the program. Towards the beginning, there's definitely an advantage with knowing. I mean, even just
they
knowing,
know the tooth numbers,
yeah,
they know some of the basic stuff, yeah.
And even just the operatory, they know.
Yeah, they know setup, they're going to know sterile, they're going to know, yeah.
Right.
But when it comes to hygiene instruments?
No, once that starts, then we're all pretty much on a,
level
the
playing
same,
field, yeah.
So
yeah, I agree.
That was kind of nice.
And so going into your first year of dental hygiene, because this is your second year now.
Yes.
What were your expectations as far as what you were going to be learning, or how quickly you worked on patients? What were some things that were kind of shocking maybe to you as far as, wow, they really got me on clinic quickly, or wow?
Right. So I thought it was going to be a little easier than it was.
It's not easy.
No.
People go, it's just cleaning teeth. No, it's not.
No, there's a lot involved. I would say dentistry, it's almost a whole other language, learning another language or something. So really it's a lot.
And remember that when you talk to your patients, when you get, into the working world, because to them it is so foreign. They have no clue. You're sitting there going, oh, that 28 has a DL, we're going to do a composite there, and they're just like, what are they saying? That tooth's an SOL. Okay, that one I know. But yeah, most of the time you're going to end up being the translator. So just, keep in mind, you'll have to learn how to translate for the layman because they have no clue what you're talking about. So yeah, that's a good point. What else?
I I mean, that was kind of the main thing. I mean, right off the bat, we have to take 7 classes, so it's kind of a lot on our plate.
Yeah.
Like right away.
Yeah.
And as far as like working on patients, we didn't start doing that until our 2nd semester.
So did you work on each other?
We did work on each other.
So you're working on an actual mouth fairly quickly.
Yeah,
I think we were in 2 weeks. Yeah, we were working on each other. Yeah, but yeah, actual patients. Did they start you off with the kids like they did with us, or did they start you off with the older patients?
It was just whoever you could
Just
find.
whoever. Oh, okay. So our school like bus in children the first couple of months.
So nice.
Yeah, it was really fun because you know, the little tiny dentition is pretty much just a polish and a floss, you know, and you're just learning how to get them comfortable in the chair and how to talk to them, and then they worked us up to like the older adults, and then we went to like the kind of middle-aged adults, which turned out to be the hardest ones to work on.
Yeah,
so that's what we did.
Okay, that's nice that they like set that up for you.
Yeah.
I did not get that.
Sorry. That would have been helpful. So do you have to find your own patients, or?
We have to find all of our own patients.
All of your own patients. So they don't have like a rotating bunch of patients that come in.
They do have
that they
some.
kind of farm off.
Yeah, there are some that they kind of divvy up some patients that have been going there for a really long time, but there's not nearly enough to fill your schedule.
Wow. Okay.
So we have to find a lot of patients ourselves.
And how do you go about doing that then?
It's hard.
I would think so.
A lot of Craigslist, a lot of Facebook, and it's just social media is pretty helpful.
So you're paying all this money and you're still having to go and find your own patient. That's like people.
I know.
Yeah, our school had, well, we were in a big, it was in California, so we had just a big bunch of people around us. There were a lot of little towns right in there. And we had a lot of, people that couldn't afford dentistry, so they'd come to the school because it's much more affordable. And like my big sister in the program, she handed me off all of her patients, and she actually would be there and introduce me to all of her patients that first couple of months when they were coming in. And then, because as she's getting harder patients because she's 2nd year, then she's giving me kind of her easier ones for me to start working on. And yeah, it was a nice little handoff. So I never had to find patients until boards.
Oh wow, that long?
Yeah.
Oh.
So at least you'll be ready to find patients for boards. But yeah, we went 2 years without having to go out and find a patient.
Oh, that's so nice.
So I'm kind of upset for you.
Thank you.
It's really awful. Yeah. All right, good to know. All right, so keep that in mind when you're looking for schools. Do they find you the patients, or do you find you the patients?
Yeah, that is a good question to ask when you're
when you're doing your interview.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Add it to the list, everybody.
Right.
What were your classes the first year of hygiene school?
Right. So we took a lot. The most classes we took was during the first semester. So we took head and neck anatomy, anatomy and histology.
Histology, yeah.
Yeah. And then we took radiology.
That's a fun class. Are you guys still doing analog too, or is it all digital now?
It's all digital. We do learn film just like for a second.
Right. It's like a PowerPoint slide now. That's all you have. We were right in the years when they were switching between the two, so we had to learn both really well. So we learned the PCP plates, and then we learned film, and then we had to learn dip tanks as well. And one of the first offices I was in after I graduated had developing tanks, and so it wasn't even like a processor. You had to walk in there, the dentist is going, "Where is it?" And you're like, "It's coming, it's coming, it's drying." Oh, it was crazy. So I was glad I learned that. But yeah, these days most offices have switched to digital at this point, so you shouldn't have to. But there are still some of those older dentists that will not switch over.
The last 2 dentists I had both did film still, so.
Yeah, I'm surprised they would make it still, really.
I don't know.
Okay, so we got a lot of anatomies, we've got radiology, we have what, preclinical?
Right, preclinical, and then just like the preclinical like theory class.
Yep.
Preventive dentistry.
Okay, probably some instrumentation.
I think we did that in our preclinical theory class.
Okay.
I want to say that's about it.
Okay. And then you're on lab, working on either type-it-ons or each other fairly quickly, learning how to polish, learning how to basic scaling.
Very basic.
Very basic scaling, yeah. People go, why can't we just learn this online? I'm like, because you look like shredded beef by the time you're done with somebody. They're very sharp instruments, and they're very tiny, and they can do a lot of damage if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. So that's first year. Second year, and you go through the summer, right? You guys go through the summer? We had a little break, and then we kind of did summer classes, and then into our second year.
Right. So we start in the fall.
Okay.
So then we have our winter break. We don't do anything during winter break, and then we have spring semester of our first year. And during spring semester first year, we have like pharmacology.
Mm-hmm. How'd you like pharm?
No.
My
least
favorite class.
Oh my goodness, that class is hard.
All right, so we got pharm. What else were we taking?
Pathology.
Oh yeah, pathology. Good. What do you think of pathology?
That was my favorite class, actually. I think it's so interesting.
It is super interesting.
Yes,
when I take CE courses, I love the pathology courses. It's so interesting. And you find that stuff in the mouth, you go, I remember seeing that in my textbook.
It's exciting. Like, some of the stuff, like even just geographic time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this yet.
Right.
And I get really excited.
I said, oh, you got tori. Oh, you got, and patients like, what are you talking about? No, it's really cool. Yeah. Until you find something really bad, and you're like, okay, hang on, I'm gonna get the doctor. Be right back. All right, so that's first year, kind of into second year. Now, what are you studying now?
So now we're studying, like we're taking our second class of periodontics and community, and
do you do rotations?
So half the class does rotations this fall semester, and then next semester the other half does it. So I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Half the class does not like it.
Really? What kind of rotations are you guys doing?
Just different public health places. A lot of schools do like sealants on kids, and then I don't know where else. This is all I've heard of. They didn't like the schools as much.
Okay.
So they didn't get to do a lot.
Yeah, sometimes you on rotations, occasionally you're just swamped, and sometimes you just sit around and there's nothing to do for 4 hours.
Right, see, yeah, some of them didn't have anything to do.
There were times I go like to the AIDS clinic in California, and there were so many patients in there, we were just up to our eyebrows, And then other times, yeah, you stood around the whole day because like one person would show up and there are 5 of you, and so somebody would take them, and then you're like, all right, I'll take the next one, and nobody comes, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So, but yeah, we had an AIDS clinic rotation. We had my favorite was the Marine base. They took us out to 29 Palms, so we got to work on the guys.
Yeah.
And the stuff you would see, because a lot of them would go, they were coming back from Iraq at that point, and so they had like trench mouth. And they would have, they hadn't brushed their teeth in 6 to 9 months. They, because when you're getting shot at, you're not really worried about brushing and flossing. Yeah. So to have them come back and see some of that stuff was interesting. I would see like oral warts and weird stuff too. Like they're all smokers, they're all heavy smokers, heavy drinkers. So there was a lot of hyperkeratinization, and you're looking at stuff like, that could be the start of something. Yeah, that one was fun. What were some of the other ones we got to do? We had like the sterile rotation. They had like oral surgery. There was an oral surgery rotation. There was one where we did, I think it was general anesthesia. So I worked on like a 6-year-old who had I don't know how many cavities, and they put her out, and then I did the cleaning, and then he's doing like 6 crowns, the silver crowns on her, something like that. I'm trying to think. We had lots of rotations, but we would do it the whole second year. You were rotating the whole time, and everybody within the class was doing it. So some days you'd be over in this clinic, and some days you were on clinic at school, and then other days you'd be doing something else.
Oh.
So they rotated you through all the time, where some weeks you were doing this and some weeks you were not. And and a lot of it was in the school too. So like perio, we had a perio area, and the oral surgery and the general anesthesia, that was all within the school. So you'd just go downstairs or upstairs to where the dental students were learning this stuff and working on people. And so you were kind of shadowing them, but you were also doing, we had like the ortho clinic, so you go and learn to do braces one day.
Oh, okay.
So that was interesting. That's kind of what we had it. Yeah. I didn't realize we were a one-stop shop. Okay.
Yeah, we do not have that.
Oh.
It's just dental hygiene in our building, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, we had dental hygiene, we had international students. we had ortho, we had everything underneath that roof. So if we needed anybody for any kind of consult, you go to the dental students or the dental, the dentistry, teachers and go, okay, hey, we need somebody to come over and look at this pathology for us, and they would do the biopsy right there.
Oh,
and we could watch it, and that was really fun.
That is really cool.
Because then you're not getting out into the field and going, okay, I don't know what to do here because I've only seen this in my textbook. I've only ever heard about this. Like we've seen a lot of stuff. I was watching them put implants in. I was watching them remove tori and that kind of stuff. You get to sit there and suction and not pass out. Does blood bother you at all? No. You know what gets me? Ropey saliva.
Oh, that is gross.
Isn't that nasty? When it gets stuck on your prophy pin and kind of flips around.
You're trying to get. Oh, I hate that.
See?
Yeah.
Like you can bleed all you want. I don't care. It's like woohoo, get this stuff off. This is gonna be awesome. It's gonna heal. But yeah, as soon as you get that ropey saliva. Okay, so what has been in the 2 years you've done hygiene so far? What has been your favorite class out of everything, or maybe even just favorite experience? Like was it working with a certain patient or?
I mean, my favorite class was pathology.
Okay, which you kind of mentioned.
Good.
Do you have a favorite moment from hygiene school so far? Where you went, yes, I'm definitely in the right spot. This is what I want to be doing with my life.
Oh, I don't know if I've had that.
When you pass your boards, it will come.
Maybe that. Yeah, maybe it is soon to come. I hope.
I hope so too. It is a hard road. People don't assume so, but it's a hard program.
Yeah, it's a lot harder than you would think.
Yeah. Okay. So what was your hardest class then? Or what's the hardest thing that you've done?
I would still say pharmacology was the hardest class.
Just all memorization or?
Yeah, probably the memorization, and it was just very detailed.
Yeah.
The dentist who taught it was just very...
They're very
very
methodical. What's the word I'm looking for? Very analytical? No, it's hard.
Yeah, it's just very hard.
It's just very hard. Learning all the different classes and families of drugs is difficult for me. Like obviously you got your penicillin and your amoxicillin, that's easy. When they all have the same kind of name, that helps.
Right, yeah.
You got your sulfa drugs and you got your Cillins and you got your, yeah, if you can kind of memorize the families, then when people come in and they go, well, I'm taking metoprolol, you go, okay, I know what that's for.
Right.
Or I'm taking a statin, okay, I know what that's for. Even if you can't spell which statin they're on, they're taking a cholesterol drug.
Right.
So that's okay. Yeah, no, I get that. So talk to me about anesthesia. So when did you start taking anesthesia?
Okay, so we had classes in the summer between our first year and our second year. So right before we start our second year, we have dental lasers, we do anesthesia.
You guys do lasers? Oh, lasers. We didn't do lasers. No. See, you got one thing on me.
Yay! Yay!
The lasers are really becoming a thing with hygiene now, and I have no experience with lasers, so that's cool. That actually makes you worth more when you graduate.
Yay! Yeah, so
okay.
we do that, and so all summer we get to stick each other, and it's super fun.
And you start with plums, you lucky thing.
Yeah, we just did just a little bit of plums, and then they just kind of.
That's just probably just to get the feel for breaking through the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can feel how that changes as you get through the mucosa. I was always surprised at how stiff the mucosa really is that very first, even just the uppers, to get through that very first pop, and you're like, oh.
It feels weird.
Doesn't it? It feels more weird when it's in your own mouth. But. So you've learned the greater palatine and all the different ones by now.
Yeah.
And do you walk around with half your mouth?
Oh, that was fun. Trying to drink water.
Right? Yeah. Or they take you right to speech class. You go, okay, here you go. Really? You're like, I'm just taking that to his throat. What are you talking about? Any final thoughts on anesthesia?
Not so much. I mean, you kind of get used to it the more and more you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, at first it's a little scary and it hurts and but
it gives you sympathy for your patients later on then too.
Yeah.
And you do it enough that hopefully you're good enough that it won't be a traumatic experience for them. That's the goal. Don't kill them.
Oh goodness, yeah, don't do that.
I gave an injection during an earthquake once because we were in California. And I couldn't figure out, how you brace on the chin, whatever. I don't remember which one I was giving. It was one of the IAs. And my hand's going like this, and I was like, that's so weird, I'm not nervous. Like, why is my hand shaking? And I was so focused, the guy's eyes are just bugging out of his head. And I'm like, I wonder, you know, are you doing okay? And he's giving me the thumbs up. You know, I'm like, are you feeling this? No, he's good. But his eyes are freaking out. And I was like, that's so weird. You know, so I take it down and set it down. And the teacher goes, congratulations, you just gave that during an earthquake. And I was like, what? And I remember, like, the back of my head, people going, earthquake, you know, but it didn't register at all, you know. But here's me with a long, you know, like a 27 long or something, this guy's mouth.
Yeah.
Not what you want in the back of your throat, but still, you know, when there's an earthquake, the building's shaking. No, I had my eyes, he looked like a squeezed hamster. Like, poor guy, I'd be freaking too.
Well, good for you.
I know, I was like, can I put that on my resume?
Yeah.
Able to
That's
give
a
injections
sign of a
during
good
earthquake. And he was numb. That's the important part.
Well, that is,
He felt nothing and he was numb.
Okay.
But I mean, he was probably so distracted at that point, even if I stuck it in his nose, he probably wouldn't have noticed.
Probably wouldn't know.
Poor guy.
You probably wouldn't feel it. All right.
All right, so moving on. Let's talk about grades in hygiene school. What is considered an acceptable grade? Can you get out of hygiene school with like C's? Or do your teachers really encourage you to get like A's and B's? Or do you know? Like, do they care? Maybe they don't care.
So anything below a 77% is failing. Yeah.
Good.
So pretty much A's and B's. You want A's and B's.
But you want somebody working on you that's had A's and B's. Like, I wouldn't want somebody that almost passed hygiene school or almost passed dentistry to be working on me. So I'm personally okay with that. But yeah, it does make it harder because you can't just scoot through school. Like, you are studying, and you study a lot.
A lot.
A lot. How much time do you spend during the week studying? Could you like hold down a job while doing hygiene school?
Some people do. I started off with a job. I was a massage therapist.
Oh, cool. My sister does that.
Oh, cool.
Nice. And you kind of put that aside?
I did.
Yeah.
It was just a lot.
It's a lot.
Especially that first semester with all of those classes, and I hadn't been in
you
school
got so much memorization going on, the anatomy and everything, that you can't be.
I couldn't. So I haven't worked since.
And does the school encourage you not to work?
They do.
Yeah,
they say
that's how my school is too. Yeah.
to not do that.
Because it's really difficult to do both. It really is. So I'm impressed with the students in my class that did it and were able to handle it. I couldn't. There's no way.
I couldn't either. Yeah.
No. Okay, good to know. So one of the things my teachers used to say was getting into dental hygiene school was way easier than getting out of dental hygiene school. I found that to be true because, again, for us, we had patients the whole time, but when it came to the boards patients and studying for the national boards, that's all on you at that point. And that's when I got really hard, honestly, to graduate, because you couldn't find those like pre-board patients where you're taking them in, you know, there before you go take the state boards or whatever. Are you finding that to be the case? Or, I mean, you're almost there. When do you graduate? Do you graduate this next spring?
Yes, I would graduate in May.
Okay, so you're prepping for national boards right now, which are the written boards.
Yes.
How's that going?
Well, since I just finished fall semester, that's kind of like my sole focus over my winter break is studying for national boards.
Right.
So
check out my other video on national boards. Link above.
Yes. So that's what I'm focusing on. We'll see how that goes. And I guess there's like a little board review kind of thing in Texas that I'm going to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That'll be helpful.
I hope it will be helpful.
So the national boards, again, are kind of the written boards.
Right.
And what does that consist of? I've done a video on it, but from your experience, what do you know you need to study for?
I mean, pretty much just about all the other topics that I mentioned for all the classes that I took.
And it's a time test.
It's a time test.
And you have to have so many right. And it's a standardized test.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So people are aware.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
do you take it at the school, or are you going to have to take it elsewhere?
You take it elsewhere.
Okay.
We take it over spring break. I know some people, I don't know if some people
Ours was
take it
just after spring break, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was telling you I went to Hawaii to study for mine, so ours was that was during spring break, and so ours was like the week after.
Oh, okay.
So I got to take mine with a tan, and that was nice. The girls hated us. The two of us, we came back tan, relaxed.
Where did you go.
Exactly. We were in Hawaii. They're like, you're gonna flunk your boards. We had some of the best scores in the class.
Oh,
It was great. So
Hawaii. That's
yeah. So Texas will be good, but yeah, Hawaii's good too.
All right.
Well, it's a place you can relax a little bit.
Well.
Oh yeah, no, you'll have fun. In your opinion,
Yes.
now having been almost all the way through dental hygiene,
Yes.
is it worth it? I know you're not making any money yet. You haven't passed your clinical boards, you haven't passed your national boards, but looking kind of ahead, would you say yes, if this is something somebody's interested in, to do it? And then if they're interested, maybe what kind of things they should be thinking about as far as like their personality type, or what it takes to get through hygiene school?
Okay.
There's the question. So is it worth it? And what does it take to actually like succeed at this?
Succeed. Okay. So I would say it's worth it. I would say it's hard to tell right now just because it's
you're not out
so
yet.
stressful.
Right.
And like I said, like we have to find our own patients and everything. That is literally the most stressful part. So if we didn't have to do that, it would be a little less.
Yeah, and I thought it was stressful not having to do that. Right. So I can't even imagine, honestly, what you're going through, because finding those board patients was just terrifying. Because we did, we had a clinic, what do they call it, like a mobile clinic that we would take out into kind of the bad neighborhoods, and we would do homeless screenings, and we just kind of, we'd go to the mall and we'd do screenings there, but we had a mobile clinic so people could come in, we could lay them back in the chair, we could count their pockets, we could look at their tartar, and see if they qualified for boards. And some of my girls found stuff that way. I did not. I had to come home to find a patient, which was really difficult, but okay. But do you still think it's thus far worth it to go through this?
I think it's going to be worth it.
You're gonna like it. It's a long road, but I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I think it will be.
Okay, so then in order to succeed as, say, somebody who's watching who wants to be in dental hygiene, they think this is kind of their thing, what would you tell them as far as, hey, this is what you're going to need in order to succeed at this program?
Right. I would say the most important thing is finding how you study.
Yes.
Like what you're going to do to study that.
So you have to, it's a lot of information really quickly.
Yeah.
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 So know your study style. That's good.
Your study style. And then kind of with like your instructors, kind of basing that a little bit off of them as well, and how they structure their tests and things. So kind of
learn quickly their personalities and their testing personalities.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
And that also helps in clinic when you're testing out of things and knowing like which instructor likes what.
What you do versus the other one.
What you like. Yeah.
That's true. We had one teacher, she failed everybody, never gave an A. I got an A with that earthquake injection.
I would give you an A as well, yeah.
That was like the only A she gave out in 2 years, and I was like, yes. But yeah, it's true. Know your instructors and know who will get you those grades that you need to pass, who you kind of mesh with, because there are teachers you won't mesh with.
There will be those.
There are patients you won't mesh with either, just so you know.
Oh yes, there will be those as well.
Okay, so then moving past school, what are you most excited about once you finish your boards, you got your, you're licensed, you got your first job, you have, let's say, your ideal job, won't happen the first time out, but what are you most looking forward to in being a fully licensed hygienist?
I mean, really just helping people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just most of them won't listen to you though.
Oh, I'm sure. But
you'll see them 4 or 5 years and you're like, same spiel. Yeah. So do you have any goals for your career? Are you wanting to maybe someday be a dentist? I went in saying, someday I want to be a dentist, or are you wanting to look at maybe getting your master's degree or work in public health, or, you can branch off. Eventually some people decide they want to be reps for like Sonicare or, some of the companies.
Right.
Do you have an end goal, or is your end goal just the cubicle and working with your patients and becoming kind of a part of their lives, which is totally okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, ideal.
So I do have a bachelor's degree already, so I kind of want to get my master's degree and
Nice.
maybe do public health. So I'm looking forward to
And you
doing...
can teach too.
No.
No. No. My husband's like, you should go back and teach. I'm like, no. I'll teach archery. I'm not teaching hygiene.
Yeah, some of the questions people ask in class, I'm just, no, I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't have the patience for that.
So yeah, I'm looking into maybe public health.
Okay.
I'm interested in that, so I'm excited to go on my rotations and see how that goes. Yours
Yeah.
sound way more exciting than mine will be, but
You still get a feel for it though,
Yeah.
because you get to see, am I really good with kids? Do I want to do pedo all the time, or am I more into the perio, where I want to do scaling and replanings all the time? My hands couldn't handle that. There's no way. I liked working general dentistry because you get both. And I get such a spectrum of the little tiny kids to the older adults with 2 teeth. So that's cool. The public health sector definitely needs more hygienists, and they pay really well too. Usually a very stable job. So yeah, and a master's,
hey.
good for you. I always applaud hygienists though that are willing to go that extra mile and do more with their careers. Some of them go into politics, and they work on making our jobs easier as far as what our duties can be. And we need more of that because there's a big war on right now for what duties for hygienists and what they're starting to give to like dental assistants that are kind of creeping into our territory. And then some places, we're able to start doing some dentistry where we can actually do fillings and we can do some of that stuff. So we're creeping into the dentistry era too. And everybody's kind of protective of their little space. And so it's nice to have people in the political area where they can make those laws and say, this and no further for you, and same for you, and same for,
Right.
So, all right. Anything else? Any final words for our viewers who have sat through all of this? I don't know if I turn this into a 2-parter because it's gonna be long.
Right.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. You're welcome.
No, seriously, for coming on your break and for sitting down and just discussing. Again, I don't have all that current knowledge because I'm not in school.
Right.
And while I remember a lot from school, it does change, and different schools are different. So it's nice to see a different perspective, and it's funny how similar we are with like the pharmacology and that stuff, which is awesome. But yeah, just thank you for coming by and for doing this. And
I hope I didn't scare anybody.
I know, right? But we don't want people in there that aren't hard workers, that aren't passionate about it. You're not coming into dental hygiene for the money, even though it has good money. You're coming in because you want to be there for the people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the hygienists that do stick with it the longest are the people that are there for the people. They're not there because, it's an easy job. It has easy hours. It makes a lot of money. That stuff's all definite benefits to it, but it's not why we became hygienists.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, because I know there's a few of you out there that have been telling me that stuff. If you guys have any comments, leave them below. I will, contact Alicia if she hasn't answered anything, and we can answer those below, or we can maybe do another video at some point if you guys have any other further questions. I guess that's it. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you all at the next video. Take care.
Bye.